Okay. Hey everyone, so we're gonna start this first video with the amendments because those are pretty important for you to know for the AP Gov exam, because you know that kind of goes into every chapter, because everything about government goes back to the framers and the Constitution. So you all know that, or you should know, that the first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights, and the First Amendment is the freedom of religion, speech, press, and to assemble. So basically, if you want to worship Wiggles and be a Coolius, you can do that, because you know it's your religion. You have the right to do that, and the government has, you know, and you also have the freedom of speech. And just know, we'll get into details at later videos, that you know not everything you say is exactly protected by the Constitution, but you know, for the most part, you can kind of say and write whatever you'd like. Great government. And then there's the freedom of press, which means, yeah, you know, you can kind of write whatever you want. If you want to publish something on, you know, you want to write about unicorns are real, and, you know, then you can write that unicorns are real, because you kind of have the freedom to do that. And, you know, freedom of the soul, which means if you want to protest, like, Phelps, for example, if you want to protest Phelps' exam, you know, that final exam that she's going to put AP-related questions in there, we can protest that, if you wanted to, if you found the right reason to really protest that. You can protest, you have the right to do that. The next freedom is the freedom to bear arms. So basically means if you want to own a gun, then you can go get a license and buy a gun and have that gun with you, because you have the right to do that. Be wary of those people that are kind of like certain blonde people that we know, that we give a nickname to, that could possibly come to school because they have the right to bear arms with a gun. Kind of use part of the video. The third right kind of goes all the way back to, but this isn't, you know, you don't really see too many, you know, people quartering soldiers nowadays, because you know that's kind of way back when those redcoats were kind of invading us and kind of owned everything we did and kind of made us feed and give homes to soldiers. So we kind of degenerated. But you have the right to be like, hey, you're a soldier. You want to stay in my house? You can't force me to make you stay in my house. This is my house. Go to a hotel, a motel 8. You know, they're kind of not that bad. Maybe, I don't know. Then, you know, everything in Amendment 4 has to do with seizure and searches. So, for example, if you're at school and someone wants to search through your book bag or something, you could tell them no, because they kind of need a warrant to do so, or probable cause if they don't have a warrant. For example, if they want to go through your car, if they bring a dog around your car and the dog starts barking because he smells some kind of whatever you have that you shouldn't have in your car, then they have the probable cause to search. Or if, you know, the same thing for your house. If they're just like, hey, we have probable cause that you might be dangerous, or you might have done whatever, you have someone in your house, then we have probable cause to go into your house, or to get a warrant and then go to your house and search you. But you have the right to be like, hey, no, you can't search me, or hey, let me see a warrant before you can touch my stuff. If you don't, then you can't see my stuff. Okay, bye. The Fifth Amendment is the right to remain silent, which you so famously should know. You know, when people say, I plead the Fifth, it's because basically, you know, it kind of goes with their Miranda rights, where, hey, I don't want to incriminate myself in front of you because I might say something that I'm trying not to make it sound like it's something bad, but it kind of comes off as bad. Like when I try to denote the fact that I am not Who's a Stalker, and I try and explain how I'm more of an uber-obsessed fangirl, yeah, either way it doesn't sound so good, so it kind of sounds bad. So yeah, you have the right with people, you know, to remain silent when someone's questioning you. Yeah. And the Sixth Amendment has everything to do with trials. So, you know, you have the right to have a jury and people to hear you, and for people to actually, you know, in the correct way, try you to see if you're guilty or not guilty. Because you can't be proven innocent, but you can be proven not guilty. Learning that stats, you know, reject the null hypothesis. The alternative, that's getting into different subject area. And, you know, that also includes things like the exclusionary rule, which we'll also get into more detail in the next videos, but I'm going to explain a little bit right now. So the exclusionary rule is basically, like, ties back to state procedure. Like, hey, you police people did not obtain this evidence correctly, so you kind of can't use it in the courtroom, so your case is going to kind of fall apart, or maybe it's not as strong, I don't know. Your fault for not doing things in legal ways, so the 7th Amendment says that senators are elected by people, so we elect our representatives for the Senate, for Congress, to hopefully do what we think is best for what we want, and that doesn't always happen because, you know, politicians and what they are, but yeah. The 8th Amendment has to do with no cruel or unusual punishments or excessive bail, which basically, you know, when you kind of think of cruel and unusual punishment, kind of like anything that's kind of not normal, kind of unusual and cruel, like having to pay lots and lots of money to get out of jail, or kind of being tortured, or kind of just anything that isn't just like, hey, we're going to put you behind these nice little cold bars and a solitary room for whatever amount of time that we say. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. The 9th Amendment has to do with, you know, the Constitution puts in really fancy words and whatnot, but basically it means just because there's a right that isn't directly listed in the Constitution does not mean it's not a right. It means, hey, we can interpret it, or, you know, this is a right that you have, fundamentally, because you're a U.S. citizen, or just because you're a human being, you know, this is your right. And even though we didn't write it, because, you know, if we had to list every single right in the Constitution, then, you know, as long as it is, it'd be way longer. Like, you wouldn't be able to fit into a little pocketbook I have. So, yeah. And the 10th Amendment has to do with reserved powers, which basically, you know, it says that any rights that are not listed to the government or in the Constitution all go back to the state and the people. So, hey, we have rights that are just to ourselves. That's another way of, you know, framers being like, hey, president and the government don't get all the power. The people do. Yeah. Alright, so the 11th has to do with the state's sovereignty immunity, which basically means, like, you know, weird fancy words. Basically, like, every state has a right to do with, you know, they have their own laws and they have their own rights. They have their own, you know, they can choose what they want to do or can't, or not do. The 12th Amendment has to do with the fact that, you know, before the 12th Amendment, people kind of, you know, whoever got the highest votes was president, whoever got the second highest was vice president. That kind of didn't work because, you know, they kind of are on different parties sometimes. And, you know, when you're VP and president on different parties or, you know, different platforms and whatnot, then you have different beliefs, that kind of doesn't, the government doesn't work. So you elect the same, they get voted together now, and it's like, yay, it works because they're both Democrats or they're both Republicans, or maybe someday it'll be Vermin, for whatever party Vermin Supreme is a part of or created. I don't know. Now we get to the 13th. Little forward in history. Hey, no more slavery. It's abolished. It's done. You can't be a slave. Legally. So the 14th Amendment has to do with natural-born citizens can't be denied any rights. Representatives will be appointed to the state based on population. No person shall be held and shall hold any office having not taken an oath. So basically, if you're a natural-born citizen here, you have rights. You get them. And, you know, if you're... And basically, the next part has to do with, hey, the House of Representatives, based on population, is how many representatives we have. So uncomplicated, right? And the last one is, you know, if you're going to be working for government, then you have to take an oath to be like, hey, I'm a congressman, ta-ta-ta, here's my oath. Hey, I'm a bureaucrat, here's my oath. Hey, I'm the president, I get sworn in. That's what that is, I take an oath. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty simple. The 15th has to do with, hey, you have the right to vote, no matter what race you are, as long as you're a man. Yeah, no women. Sorry, guys. Sorry, you know, guys get to vote, women don't. Women's suffrage, they're pissed. Keeps going. History goes on. And 16th Amendment has to do with Congress has the power to lay and collect taxes on income. So basically, those taxes, that money you get taken away, people who work, you know, when you that little